Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Christian Smedberg, Marketing Manager here at Holz-Her USA.
And I'm Dan Hirschberger, Holz-Her Products Manager here at Holz-Her USA as well.
Dan, we are back at the Edgebanders today for our newest installment of our live video series.
Yes, we are.
So, tell us, what are we looking at today?
Great. Well, today, as you can see behind us here, we have our Streamer 1052 Edgebander. This is the smallest Edgebander we have in our entire lineup of Edgebanders, and because it's so small, maybe it might be a little bit overlooked. So today we want to highlight it a little bit, show you what it can do. It's a very powerful machine, even though it's quite small. So that's our objective for this afternoon.
So is this what we would consider entry level?
This is an entry-level machine. This is a great machine for those people maybe just starting out in the business.
Ah, okay.
Maybe
right.
those with a very small floor space. They don't have a lot of room.
Sure.
So it's really ideal. Has a very unique power requirement that we'll talk about here in a little bit.
Okay.
And it's even portable. You can't see it now behind us, but we'll show you here shortly. It comes on wheels or casters. You can move it around the shop.
Great for a small shop.
Yeah, ideal for a small shop because
Yep.
a lot of people, especially when they're just getting started, they don't have a lot of room. So it's nice to be able to push the machine off to the side, out of the way, and then when you need it, pull it back out, plug it in, and
there
go
you
with
go.
it. So, yeah.
Right. All right, well, Dan, take it away. Show us, give us a tour of it.
All right,
All
thank
right,
you. Thank
great.
you, Christian. As we have had in the past, I have with me today Kevin Gramillion, and Kevin's going to work with us today on this 1052 and show us some of the features of it because, interestingly enough, some of the features on this small machine are the same as we use on our larger machine.
That's right.
And so some of that technology we had on the upper end has trickled down through to the small one, and so we're going to do this. So Kevin's going to move over here in front of the controller. We're going to talk you through some of the controls do on the machine, how that works, and then we're going to actually run some edge banding for you. So we're going to do several different parts with the different types of edge banding and let you see how this little machine works. So Kevin, a couple first things. Let's get started. You can see maybe Christian can pan back. We can see. Talk about the casters and then the power requirement for this machine.
Yeah, there's an option for these casters here. So like you said earlier, you can move it in and out of the way. Because a startup shop is usually only using it maybe a couple hours a week or
Right.
half of a day during the week. So they can get out of the way there. Power requirements is 230 volts single phase. So yes, you can plug it into the dryer outlet
Right.
if you really wanted to.
It's the same power.
But yes,
Right, it's the same type of plug on the end of it.
Right. So
that makes
usually-
it convenient because, again, if we're talking about a small shop just getting started, they may not have three-phase power.
Right.
To have three-phase power run to a shop can be very expensive.
That's right.
So this is really ideal. Most everybody has at least single-phase power and then the 230 volts, so that
That's right.
makes it very convenient. Good. All right, so moving on, tell us a little bit more here.
So in our Streamer series, we have the same control panel. It's a switch and contactor style machine. So no complicated PLC or anything like this. So it's a very, very standard machine. This one has a few options, and if you have a larger streamer or other banders, you might have other options that are on the same panel.
Okay, so we use the same control panel for all the different variations of the Streamer series. So you can see here some empty buttons that we're not using at this time, but we have other models in this family that we may use there.
That's
One
right.
other thing before we go on, if you're just talking about entry-level beginning edge banding, anybody that's done edge banding by hand know that it's a very slow, labor-intensive process, and it simply put 10 hours by hand is 1 hour on the machine. So just think about the time that you can save, and then the quality of the edge banding here is certainly much better than you could do by hand with
Certainly.
applying it by hand, trimming it by hand. So that's kind of where this bander falls in. It's their first step for some people.
That's right. And as you were talking about earlier, bringing technology down from the larger machines is we have the glue jet with the floating shoe. So same as the large machines.
So we're still using the glue cartridge that you're familiar with. You can see the glue cartridge up in there ready to be melted and used. Same as we use on all of our machines.
And the rest of the magazine is pretty standard. We have a guillotine, the red belt to pull the material into place, and the pressure rollers to apply it and press it on.
Yeah, so that magazine technology is the same on all of our machines. It's really quite different than anybody else in the industry in the way that this red belt feeds the banding in, whether it's PVC, whether it's laminate strips, wood strips, whatever it might be. This belt feeds the material in to match up with the panel as it comes through the machine. So it's a very unique technology that works quite well for us.
That's right. So inside the hoods here, we have all of our trimming components that we need to process the edge banding.
Okay.
And this door also has a safety lock on it. So we have a single motor end trimmer here.
So you can see, just to explain, we have one motor. That same motor trims the front and the rear of the panel as it passes through the machine, and it will even trim at a bevel if necessary. So you can cut straight, or the unit will pivot or bevel as the part's coming through, so we can trim the ends at a bevel. And then here, Kevin, this is our top and bottom flush trimming station.
That's right.
What are our capacities? What are our capabilities there?
This machine will do up to 3 millimeter. So we have a 3 millimeter radius and also a flush part of the blade.
Okay, great. So depending upon how we adjust the unit, we can cut flat or flush,
right,
or we can put a little radius on the edge.
That's right.
And some people cheat a little bit if they want to just break that corner a little bit. They can just use the inside of the radius and just knock that corner off.
That's right.
Makes it feel a little bit better, looks nicer. So we have a lot of versatility here.
Right.
And then of course we have our buffing station at the end.
That's right.
So not a lot of stations under there, but certainly does the most common edge banding functions and does them quite well.
Yep. Yep.
Good.
Now today, just for the demo, for the video, I'm going to use the safety key bypass. So we're going to have the hood open, but this will not run that way normally.
Typically, when you buy a machine from us, even this machine, you cannot run it with the hood open. So we're cheating a little bit today so that you can see what happens, because I think it's really important that you see the function of the end trim station and how that works, because we have just the one motor doing the front and the rear. So we're going to leave the hood up, but your machine wouldn't work like that if you happen to purchase one of these. So over here in the magazine we can do coils, and you can see Kevin has a coil of, what's that, thin PVC tape there?
Yeah, just half millimeter tape.
Half mil tape, and how it's setting it up, feeding it into the magazine. And on the controller we have an option, if you can see here. Can you see that good? So the controller function has coiled on this side or strips on this side, depending upon how you set the selector switch. And then you can see as Kevin pulls it back, the tape is automatically fed in, positioned right where we want it, ready to set up for the first panel that's going to come through the machine.
The next step I do is I set my pressure rollers for the thickness of the edge banding.
Okay.
So a simple locking handle here. And lock it in place.
So there's a scale right here on the front of the pressure section that corresponds with the thickness of the tape that you're running.
The end trimmer is already set, because we set that up when we first installed the blade, and it's good whether we do flush cut or beveled cut.
Okay, that
You
doesn't
don't have
change.
to do anything for it.
Nothing else, right? Okay.
The top and bottom trimmers, I do have to make a few adjustments. So I changed for the thickness of the edge banding here, which is a half millimeter. And then we want to adjust for the type of cut. The cut we're going to do, in this case here, we're just going to do just a little bit of an eased edge. Let's say you use part of the radius knife.
Okay.
So I'll go down on top and the bottom with both of those.
Yeah, so there's two adjustments on each unit. And part of the installation and training process is we will teach the operators where to set those digital indicators based on what type of edge banding. So there's no guessing.
That's right.
Once it's dialed in, once it's set up properly, then there's no guessing. You know exactly where to set the digital counters based on the type of edge banding that you're applying.
Exactly.
Real simple.
Exactly. And usually in that case, someone might have a paper sheet or
Yeah, a
a
cheat
laminated
sheet,
sheet
sure.
where they know each setup and they
Yeah.
know what to do, whether they want to do flush on top and radius on the bottom,
Yep.
radius on both. Yeah.
Okay.
So you
Yeah,
can
and I've
still-
seen a lot of guys have them up under the hood here somewhere, or
yeah.
somewhere near the controller, a little cheat sheet with the settings, so the operators know where to set the digital indicators when they're changing the machine over. Great.
That's right.
So everything's good under the hood here.
Everything's good under the hood. I have the edge banding loaded up, and again, the magazine just feeds it forward, just the way it should
Okay.
be.
Great. So how do
just-
we know, what are these two digital readouts up here? What is this telling us here, Kevin?
This is our glue temperature. Just like all the other banders, we have a 3-minute heat up time from start. So we just turned it on just now. And the one's for the waffle that heats up the main part of the glue, and the other's for the applicator that actually puts it on the panel.
Okay.
That's your glue settings here.
Okay. So we have two different thermostats then.
Yes.
Two different heating elements in there, correct?
So that we have accurate control
Right,
of both
so that we
zones.
know that when the glue is applied to the edge, that it's at exactly whatever temperature we set the thermostat for.
That's right.
There's no cooling off there. All right.
And just to mention, one question I'm asked often is, even the smaller bander, it is the same glue station, so we can also run PUR.
Okay.
And you can set the temperatures for PUR.
Great. And what about the adjustment of the glue nozzle, you know, for the thickness of the panel? How is that accomplished on this machine?
This one moves up and down with the beam. When I move the beam up and down for the thickness of board,
Right.
it moves with
Automatically just to go. So the operator didn't have to worry about changing anything when his
Not at all.
panel thickness varies.
Yeah,
So it's
same.
tied right to the beam.
That's
okay,
right.
good. So I
So-
see we got the green light.
Green light, we're
Yeah.
ready to go. And I'm going to cut with the solid bevel.
Okay. So if you look here, you can maybe do that again so Christian can, so you can see how this motor pivots or tilts at an angle. Okay. Good. All right.
And now it's ready.
So we're ready. Step back a little bit here. Kevin's going to start the machine, and we'll run the panel and apply the half-mil PVC. So you can
Here
see.
we have a 1/2 millimeter
Yeah, it looks very nice.
edge.
Very clean.
The next step we can do is do we can do a 3 millimeter edge, let's say.
Okay, sure. Let's go ahead and change it over. Show them what the process is for that.
I'll just remove this banding out.
You take the half-mil tape out, take the 3 millimeter PVC, feed it into the magazine, change our pressure section to match the thickness of the tape because we're going from a 1/2 mil to 3 mil. Then we have to come over here and adjust our flush trim for the 3 mil PVC. So one setting is going to be for the thickness. This one setting's for the thickness of the tape. So that's easy. We know that's 3 mil.
And we're going to do a radius cut today.
Okay. So what's the adjustment for that? It's also 3.
Yep.
So we have both counters at 3 for the 3 millimeter radius and the 3 millimeter thick tape. Once those are set to 3, Kevin can come back to the front.
I'm going to do straight cutting with the saw this
Okay.
time. That way we can get a nice corner.
Okay.
And we're ready to
Yeah,
go.
we still got the green light, so we know our glue is up to temperature. Start the machine. So there you can see a nice radius on the PVC.
Yep.
You
Nice,
know, this
clean,
machine
ready.
is not meant for a lot of PVC, but if you had a job, occasionally came in and out,
Yep.
sure, you can absolutely do it.
Yeah,
If
3
you were to
millimeter.
tell me you're going to do 3 millimeter on a regular basis, this probably isn't the right machine for you. But for an occasional job here and there,
Yep.
it's great, ideal.
Exactly.
Because these are the same flush trim unit motors that we're using on the other machines.
That's
correct?
right. They
So
are.
it's the same motor, same unit that we're using on our other machines. So it's very capable of doing the 3 mil PVC. So I think we have one more edge banding demonstration.
One more. We can also
Yeah.
do strips.
We got some laminate strips here that we're going to do. Show you how that would work in this machine. And so Kevin's going to pull the tape out, and now we're going to load the magazine with some of these laminate strips, and so you can see how the strips are applied with this machine as well.
So in this case, I'll take 2 strips, and I'm going to set it to where only 1 strip can go at a time.
So there's a gate there. We're going to open the gate just enough for 1 strip to go through, but not 2. And then once we've got that set, then you can just load the rest of the magazine
Stack them up.
with multiple strips.
I
You
go
got it ready?
switch it into strip mode here.
So there in the selector switch, we go to the strips.
It'll feed 1 at a time.
So just fed the first strip in there. It's in place, ready to go. Adjust your pressure section to the thickness of the strips. And then again, you got to come down here to your flush trim station and make your adjustment there. Again, for the thickness of the banding. So you can see, even though you have to manually make those adjustments, it's very quick, very easy. Because with those digital counters, you know exactly where to position them. and so there's no question. And that way, you know, the first part that comes through is going to be right on the money, just the way you like it. No trial and error, no test pieces beforehand.
Nice and clean.
Yeah, there it is. Got a nice edge on there, very evenly, cleanly trimmed, no overhang. Got a little break on the edge there. Yeah,
Yep.
feels good. So you can see we just ran 3 different types of edge banding. We ran the thin tape, the 3mm PVC, and then the high pressure laminate, all within literally just a few minutes.
Yeah.
The digital counters make it real simple. We know right where to adjust the machine. No trial and error, no guessing. Run a part, look at it, oh, maybe it's not right, run another part. Once we've set the machine up, we know right where to put these settings, so every part that comes out is right on the money. It's very simple, very compact. So hopefully that gives you a good idea of what the machine capabilities are. You know, we have the wheels, we've got the plug on the back. You literally unplug it, roll it out of the way off to the side, roll it back out onto your shop floor when you're ready, plug it in, and it's ready to go.
That's right.
Great.
Very
Kevin, thank you for your demonstration today. I hope that has been a good introduction and a good example for you to understand what this machine is capable of doing.